Folk and folkettes, how are you doing? Today I'm going to talk about the dangers of channeling. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So I've been channeling the emissaries for a good few years now. What I'm very aware of is that the process of channeling, although it's evolved for me, it was a very different process when I first started. It was done with yes and no, and then streaming. I used to stream it, and that was very difficult to do. And now it's done through a process of me asking questions out loud, and they give me answers in words that I hear. They give me answers in visual metaphors, and also just in knowing. I just know. I go, oh, right, okay. So it happens in different ways, but I'm very aware of the fact that I could be wrong. I could have it all wrong, and that really, I don't know whether the message that I'm giving is the correct one. I've asked the emissaries before, give me a percentage of how much is your message and how much is my own shit that I'm putting in there, my own preconceptions, my own values and beliefs, etc. And they said, on a good day, 80% of the message is ours and 20% is yours. On a good day. Maybe, I don't know how often the good days happen. Lately, I've got to say, I have been feeling incredibly connected. I don't know if there's a shift in energies. I'm still continuing to do the microdosing. And I notice that when I'm microdosing, and I always make sure I microdose, you don't do it every day. I do it on the days that I'm going out to talk to the emissaries. And the connection feels better than it has been ever. That said, I could still have it wrong. I could still be making up a lot of stuff. So I put that to the emissaries. What do you think? What do you think? What's your advice to me, and also to me to give to you, because I'm giving these messages and I'm saying that they're coming from a higher source. You know, what would be the best way to look at this? The emissary said, it's true that there are a number of impediments in the way that we get information to you. They said, first of all, the distance, and again, that's not the right word, but what they meant was the energetic distance. They're at a very, very high level of energy, and I'm at a very, very low level comparative of energy. And so the only way that we can come together is for them to reduce their level of energy and me to increase mine, so that we can kind of meet in the middle. Although I don't think for a moment that it's the middle. I think they come down a lot further. It takes a lot of energy for them to do this, and I come up a wee bit. So they said the fact that they have to reduce their energy, the fact that there's still a divide between us, can create confusions about the message that they're giving. They also said there's a big issue with language, and I think this is why we moved away from me just streaming stuff, because they give me the messages in a different way. And what they said is the language is incredibly clumsy, and it's just the words aren't there to describe what it is that they're saying. Very often I don't have the words to describe it, and I have to kind of come up with some clumsy clunky way of describing it. Sometimes the words come through very clearly, like when they said about the timeline, the split being an energetic stream of consciousness. That came through really clearly, and I just, you know, when you get something and you think, oh, I wonder if I've put a bit of my oomph into that. That was not me. They're just not words I would use, an energetic stream of consciousness. But I don't know what they mean. I don't know what it means. They know what it means. All right, it's a stream of consciousness that's to do with energy. They've always talked about energy, frequency, and vibration. That's what they talk about all the time. But generally, the language that they have to use is my language. They can't use any other language. Sometimes, because I'm bilingual, sometimes they will finish something off with the Spanish word, or they'll use a Spanish expression. Maybe it's because it means it's got more significance to me in that language, or maybe it's because my brain just can't think of the English word, and so it gives me the Spanish word. I don't know. And then they said, also what you're doing, Gordon, when we are giving you this, you are imposing your map of the world. You're imposing your ideas upon the information that we're giving us. And you know, we've discussed this before about the way that we filter and we delete and we do all kinds of things that really, really distorts a tremendous amount of the information that we take in. Whether they have found a way of bypassing that a little bit, I don't know. I don't know. What I'm aware of is that the messages that they give me have always been good. They've always been positive. They've always been upbuilding with a hope for the future, which tells me that they're coming from a good place. But what they went on to say is this, that it's much better for me and all of us to stay very generalized, to stay talking about general concepts and general ideas. Why? Because when we get into the details, that's when often we get hold of the shitty end of the stick. The other day I listened, what I do is I watch out for channels that have very few subscribers and very few views. And you know, on my feed I'll get a lot of spiritual channels, and I always have a listen to see whether I'm looking for somebody to interview, and I think it would be nice, you know, somebody who's got like 11 subscribers, it would be so lovely to help them to move on if they've got a good message. And sometimes they have, and sometimes, you know, they haven't. But I watched a couple who were just about to go to Egypt and do something. And they had really hardly any subscribers and hardly any views. But when they were talking as though they had this massive team. So I don't quite know what was going on. But the language they used, and I would consider myself to be fairly spiritual, fairly up to speed with what's going on. The language they used left me 50% of the time, I didn't know what the heck they were talking about. They were talking about going to Egypt and opening portal 001 because portal 002, but it went on and on. I listened to the lot. I was persistent. I'm persistent sometimes. But I decided I wasn't going to reach out to them for an interview because it was really boring. It was really boring. But they were opening up these portals and they were using this language that I couldn't understand. I didn't know what they were doing. I had a quick look at the website and they were charging very large amounts of money to be trained, which is also a little bit of a red flag for me, just for me. But as the Emissaries said, it's much better to stay generalized. I like big picture anyway. I'm not a small focused picture person. I like big picture. It's easier for me to grasp concepts that way. And then the Emissaries finished by saying, and it's very important that people understand that this is not a cult, this is not a religion. Okay, and I'm very conscious of that, having been in so many in my life and probably still in one now, that when we get into the cult, when we get into the sect type of mentality, then we lose it. We lose direction. We lose our ability to focus widely. We become narrowed. We start having a language that we use, everybody within our group understands, and outside nobody understands, or they're lost, they don't know the significance of it. Just like that couple talking with the team about portals in 001, 002, and there's 8 of them and they've all got to be open at different times. Very complex, very culty. And that's what we've got to avoid. It's too big for a cult. It's too enormous. There's too much information for us to be able to create cults. And then they said this, which I was, again, something that I've never heard them say before. And they said, the truth of the matter is that the content of our message is not the most important thing. The words we use, the subjects we talk about. And I was like, because they've said before, don't work on. I've said, I've only got so many subscribers, I don't have a big reach. And they said, it doesn't matter. It's the vibrational frequency of the message that is doing the work. So they've said that before. It's not how many people listen, it's the message being spoken. And then they said this just the other day, that it's not even the words. It's not even the words. They said it's what's important is the energetic signature. Right? I've never heard them use that. They said it's an energetic signature of the message, our message, their message. And they said it's like a key code. And again, I've never heard them say that before. They said it's like a key code that when the message is given, it writes something into the ether and it opens something like a key code. Beep, 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 beep. And they said that is why we continue to give the message, and that is why we ask you to continue to give the message. Not because the words are ever so important, not because it needs to reach millions of people. It's because the message needs to be spoken. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was a God. Don't know what that means, but it just sounds nice. It's from the Bible. In the beginning was the Word. Sound was what started this off, and sound is what's going to finish it off as well. And so that's why it's important that when you receive, and I know lots of people are getting downloads, they're receiving things, speak it out. Speak it. It doesn't matter that only one person's going to hear. It doesn't matter that nobody hears. Speak it out loud when you're out on your own. Just say it. Get it out. It's a vibrational frequency. It's an energetic signature. It's a key code that's going to open the door to the fucking right-hand path. Okay? And God, we want that door open. Do we not? I certainly do. It's already open. We're walking through it. But just let's keep it open. Keep those key codes beeping away like Billy-O. I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Let me know if you've had any recent downloads and what they were. Speak them out. Write them out. I think it's probably the same if you write it. It's still the same. Have a beautiful day. I love you.